Okay, a very good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very warm welcome to the project presentation of Batch 5. On behalf of BBox Labs, I welcome everyone who's watching us right now. So over past couple of months, we have conducted 10 amazing sessions. Okay, so there was a bit of two noises that I was getting. All right, so a very warm welcome again to this project presentation. So over past couple of months, we have conducted 10 sessions ranging from design thinking to web development, app development, and so on. And what we did is we tried to instill a spark of innovation with the students that we are working with. Right, so we are with batch 5 of St. Thomas Residential School. So to start the proceedings, I would want Marwa Sajjad to proceed with her presentation. You can share your presentation and please proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Just a moment, I'll spotlight you, Marwa. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, please proceed.
Sir, could you enable screen sharing? Good evening, everyone. My name is Marwa Sajjad and I'm a grade 8 student in St. Thomas Residential School, Trivandrum. Today, I'll be talking about maintaining electronic health records for patients across a common platform. First, we'll be talking about why I chose EHR, that is my inspiration. Then we'll move on to its significance in patient history and COVID-19. I'll give you a short background history on EHR and how my version of EHR is to be used. And as every project will have its own advantages and disadvantages, we'll go through that too. Why EHR? My cousin sister, Bayana, she's 22 and she has a cervical rib. It causes great pain in her shoulder and she has faced a lot of issues during her college exams. She has consulted a lot of doctors across Kerala and she came to Trivandrum to visit a cardiothoracic surgeon for advice about conducting a surgery. They stopped at our house for lunch. When they prepared to go to the hospital to see the doctor, I noticed that in her hands were this huge bunch of files, which were test results and scan reports and prescriptions from each and every doctor she's visited. Every time she visits a new doctor, she has to take each and every file with her for the doctor to understand the previous medicines she's taken. This is the case of most patients across India. However, in the US, a system known as EHR or electronic health records is used. Using this, the doctor can understand the patient history or the diseases they've been diagnosed with or the medicines they've taken without the patient having to carry paper files. This has been introduced by the government of Kerala and government hospitals. However, it does not work on a large scale. Maintaining records for patients across a common platform, how it works with patient history and COVID-19. So, what does it do? It'll be an online web portal or app which is accessible to every single private or government hospital or medical institution in Kerala, in India, where doctors can identify the patient using his or her Aadhaar card number or any other identification card number, and they can access every single medical record of the certain patient. It can also be used by medical students to research on some special medical cases. We know that COVID-19 severely affects people with comorbidities. Moreover, during vaccination, a person with certain medical conditions may not be able to take the vaccination. Many people have died. During this scenario, patient history is very important. This is what the existing EHR looks like. You can enter your details and log into this to find out charts and records of your previous medical history. You can upload e-prescriptions or your e-diagnosis into this, and you can view all this data as it is stored in a cloud-based software. Introducing the next level EHR in India. This is what my version of EHR will be like. As we go to hospitals, we see that doctors enter information in computers, yes. However, most hospitals have private records which are not shared with other hospitals. In my version, patient history will be linked to their Aadhaar. You do not change your Aadhaar once in a while. So obviously, your patient history will always be consistent, and it can also be accessed by the government for special medical needs. On entering your Aadhaar number, the doctor can view your history. That is, which all doctors or hospitals you visited, what all types of treatments you've tried out, what all medicines you've taken, and what all types of diseases you've been diagnosed with. The doctor can also enter your new diagnosis or treatment plan, and the diagnosis will be entered in ICD, or International Classification of Diseases, which is a standard code for diseases. And this is also something new I'd like to introduce into the system. Medical students should be taught this classification of diseases or this code very well, and they should be made thorough so that it can be used as a standard form of diagnosing patients all throughout the nation. Its advantages are that it reduces the need of having to do the same test or the same scan again and again in each hospital you visit. It reduces the need of having to carry around paper files or solid reports. It provides an archive of medical cases which can be used by students or professionals for research purposes. During COVID-19 vaccination or while administering COVID-19 treatment medicines, patient history or their medical condition is very important. Health workers can access this site too to know if the patient should be administered the COVID-19 vaccination or treatment or not. A preserved case history, which can be accessed by the government or medical officers, can help in understanding trends and variations in epidemics or pandemic diseases, what kind of symptoms are likely to come, what kind of medicines work more, and this can help to prevent or control future widespread infections. Every new project or solution will have its own loopholes or disadvantages. Let us look at a few of them. A crash in the system could lead to the whole loss or leak of information. However, we could try to make sure it is retrievable. Unauthorized access could lead to misuse of information. Fraudsters or individuals engaged in politics could try to gain unauthorized access or hack the system to use medical information against governments or against individuals. Inexperienced doctors who are not sure of the case laid before them, they could try and use the system to understand the previous diagnoses and provide a satisfactory result. There are limitations in incorporating other types of medicine such as Ayurveda, homeopathy, etc., in which you do not get a defined name of a medicine. However, in homeopathy, you have pills, and in Ayurveda, you might have more of a physical treatment plan. There are limitations in incorporating this into the system. Illegal organ trade may increase. You may wonder how illegal organ trade is related to EHR. If a person needs to illegally sell a kidney, they could hack the system to find a possible victim, check their correct blood group, because all the information, medical information related to individuals in India will be recorded in this. So by hacking this, illegal organ traders, they could identify the possible victim and conduct the illegal organ trade easily using this system. These are a few of the downfalls of this system. Thank you so much for your patient listening, and I hope you enjoyed.
All right. Okay, so Marva, very well done. Keep it up. You've chosen a very contemporary topic, very relevant one. So keep it up. Okay, moving forward with presentation, Aditya Rahul Nath.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll spotlight you. You can share your PPT and please proceed.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aditya Rahul Nath from grade 8 in Thomas Residential School. As a part of my ATL project, I have created a project named Increase in Radiation, Decrease in Births. So now I'm going to say how I came across this idea. We and my family watch movies all Fridays. A year later, me and my family watched a movie called 2.0. In that movie, all the birds were dying due to radiation on cell phone towers or teletowers. The day before After Sasha sir gave the details of the project, I thought about this movie and about the birds. And this is how I came across this idea. So this radiation not only affects birds, but also human beings. So how to take care of this problem? I have found out two solutions. First one, the minimum radiation that should come from the cell phone towers or the safe limit should be 0.5 milliwatts per square meter. And the second solution is to reduce the cell phone towers or the tele towers in a particular area. You know, in India there are 400,000 tele towers, and in Chennai there are 4,000 of them. In Chennai, a huge number of birds died to electromagnetic radiation. These are the facts I just said now. So now let's talk about the advantages. I have found out 4 main advantages. The first one, we can save our beautiful birds. And the second, birds mostly depend on small creatures like grasshoppers and cockroaches. So birds can reduce the growth of small creatures like these creatures which will destroy plants by eating them. And birds mainly help us in cross-pollination. My mother once said that dodo, when extended, a tree called calvaria tree, couldn't germinate seeds. And the fourth point, animals such as snakes, cats, etc. sometimes feed on birds. If there will be a reduce in birds, these animals should depend on other animals. So there will be a break in the food chain. This is my end of my presentation. I thank you, my school, for giving this opportunity, and I thank you, Satya sir, for teaching me things that will benefit for my future and my present. Thank you.
Okay, Aditya, very well done. Keep it up. You've chosen a topic which again is very close to me personally. Birds, you know, the birds which we were used to seeing when we were child have been vanishing. So a very relevant project, Aditya. Keep it up. Okay, so moving forward, Irene is here. Irene, please, you may proceed with your presentation.
A very warm evening to everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank Sir for giving me such an opportunity. I am Irene Susan from St. Thomas, and the topic I've chosen for today's presentation is prepaid and postpaid energy meters. The contents are inspiration behind my topic, the project, the materials required, objective, advantages, and disadvantages. I am from a nuclear family consisting of my father, my little brother, and my mother. Speaking of mother, my mother is a package of tension about different things. You might have guessed her latest tension. Yes, it is Corona. And being a very caring mother, her biggest wish lately is that no outsider should come to our place. It was then that one morning, my father came with the idea of installing solar panels at home. This whole idea was enough to make my Amma's BP go shooting up high and give her sleepless nights. For the next couple of days, our house was filled with workers running up and down installing the solar panels. Within a few days, almost all the technical formalities were over, and 2 officers from IKCB had to come to install the new meter. It was then that one of the officers told about the difficulties they were facing during the Corona time, and that many who were under quarantine did not inform them about that, and many of the colleagues got infected this way. That is how I came to my project, prepaid and postpaid energy meters. In the usual prepaid electricity service, at the end of the month, you're charged based on the amount of electricity you consumed. And on a prepaid electricity service is like recharging a mobile phone, where the consumer gets to buy a recharge card and some units in it, energy units in it. And for every unit of energy consumed, the balance will keep reducing. And once the balance reaches 0, the power supply would be automatically cut off. This is the block diagram of an already existing. So can you see this?
Yes, it's visible. Please go on. Yeah.
Okay. So there is a microcontroller and two EEPROMs, an energy meter, a relay driver, and a display. So we put the rechargeable card in the EEPROM 1, and the amount and the unit of energy consumed would be given to the microcontroller by the energy meter. And for every unit of energy consumed, the balance amount would keep decreasing, which would be from the EEPROM 2. And once the balance reaches 0, a message would be given to the relay driver from the EEPROM 2 to cut the power supply to the load. So the materials required for this was two EEPROMs, one microcontroller, a relay, an opto-isolator, and a display unit. The objective is to develop energy meters that informs about the amount of energy that is consumed through SMS, and you could minimize the amount of fault billing and the need of taking manual readings. The advantage is that prepaid meters allow you to save a lot of electricity, and it enables you to manage your cash flow and allocates costs properly. And the amount of electricity used is recorded in the meter, and this information is passed to the supplier who bills for the consumer for the energy consumed. The disadvantage is that if you run out of emergency credit, you'll go off supply, and there is an inconvenience of having to top up every now and then. Many countries already use this basic model of prepaid energy, and my project's aim is to develop this basic model of prepaid energy meter into a much smarter system, which could be more user-friendly and economic and covers all the disadvantages. Thank you for having such a patient listeners. Hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Yeah. All right. Very well done. Very well presented. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, moving forward. Adev, Sam, Santosh. Adev, Sam, Santosh, I'll spotlight you and you can start your presentation.
Yes.
Make sure you're visible, Adev, Sam.
So now can you see me?
Yeah.
So can I start?
Yeah, please proceed.
Good evening. I hope everyone is doing fine. My name is Adarsh Sam. I study in 8th grade at St. Thomas Residential School, and today I'm going to be taking you through a walkthrough of my project, Roadster. Let's go on to the contents. We'll start off with my inspiration, then we'll go on to the materials required, then I'll teach you something about lean and stoichiometric, which will come into play, and after that we'll move on to something about Roadster and how it works, then the advantages and of course disadvantages, and finally we'll end it off with some instructions to the user. So here's my inspiration. The inspiration is very simple, but it's also very common. Car accidents happen every day. It's rare, or rather impossible, for a day to go by without the news reporting something related to car accidents. It shocked me to know that 1,214 road crashes occur every day. What's even more shocking is that's just in India. Worldwide, estimates suggest 1.35 million people die every year, and every day close to 3,700 people are killed. I didn't actually know anything about this until I was surfing the internet, and I came about this article about a bus that crashed, which killed 20 children aged between 3 to 15, and in the Etah district of Uttar Pradesh. And this is the actual inspiration behind my project. Now, here are the materials required. Before that, it is very important to know that the engine gets energy from a chemical reaction that happens between air and fuel called combustion. Combustion powers the engine, and that gives it the power to make the car go. So what we'll need is a mechanism which will be able to control the oxygen and the fuel which mixes together, a proximity sensor. It's quite obvious from the name, but if some people do not understand, a proximity sensor is a sensor which senses the distance between it and the thing in front of it without physically touching it. Third, we need a button. I'll explain more about that later. And a type of engine which can go in both simultaneously lean and stoichiometric. So now most of you will be confused about what lean and this stoichiometric is. So I'll talk to you about it. A lean mixture occurs when there's a higher concentration of air than fuel. The car will be fine, but it will occur in a lot of jerking movements and a lot of popping and a lot of engine drawbacks. A stoichiometric is the perfect balance between a lean mixture and a rich mixture. Now, a lean mixture, when it goes extremely lean, it's very bad. It's a big no-no. But if it goes slightly lean, it should be fine. Now, a rich mixture isn't that important in the current project, but it occurs when there's a higher concentration of fuel than air. This generates more power. Now, I'll talk to you about a bit about Roadster. So, we all know about traffic signals. In a traffic signal, there are 3 lights: green, yellow, and red. Now, it is supposed to help the drivers and mitigate the amount of accidents, but some people just ignore it. But what Roadster does is the exact opposite. Roadster will ensure that the car keeps the speed limit and near the curves and that it doesn't surpass it. This will be greatly beneficial. The sensor, which will be attached to the grille of the car, will sense the distance between the car and something that is obstacle in front of the car, and which in turn will send a signal to the pipes which mixes the fuel and air, and that will make it go into a lean mixture, which will reduce the speed of the car. And in case there are some like urgent and there are some emergencies, and if the sensor senses it wrong, there'll be a button, and the button which I mentioned before. The button will, after you press it, it'll go lean or stoichiometric. Now, here are some advantages. During long distance family trips, take for instance towards a hill station, there are a lot of hairpins and a lot of dangerous curves and loops. So that's where Roadster comes into play. It will be very beneficial to have it. It will also help during night drives. It will definitely decrease the number of accidents. And if a car doesn't have cruise control, because not all cars have it, since not all cars have it, this system will be extremely useful. And even in some cases, maybe better than cruise control. But the driver is choose to free whatever they want. They can either go into lean or stoichiometry. And since nothing is perfect, we'll go to the drawbacks and the disadvantages too. Drunken driving cannot be avoided. As of now, it is very difficult to actually create something like this because the technology doesn't support it. But I am 100% sure within the next few years, it will instead of becoming a dream, it will be a reality. And also, it may be a bit hard to press the button while driving. So now we'll go on to the instructions to user. So there are certain flexibility for the Roadster, and if
okay, all right. So meanwhile, we'll move forward with the presentation. Hopefully, Adiv Sam will join back. All right. Okay, Priyanka Nair is here. I'll spotlight Priyanka and you can start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So can you see this?
Yes, Priyanka, it's visible. Please proceed.
Okay. So wait a second. Good evening to one and all. I'm Priyanka Nair of class 8B, and I'm a person who loves solving simple stuff because it makes me feel like I'm smarter. I'm very smart, but which I'm clearly not. So I like solving stuff. By solving stuff, I mean like making a Facebook account for my grandma and everything and things like that. But this time I had some in this idea. And today I'm going to present a device which solved a small problem at my home. So one day, me and my dad decided to plant a guava tree, as we thought it would be a great experience to learn about all the hard work and care that goes into growing plants, and to get the sense of accomplishment when the fruits are produced at the end. So we started watering it every day, feeding it with adequate amounts of fertilizers, and spraying it with organic pesticides, and all the love and care it needed for it to produce a good batch of guavas by the end of the year. But of course, not every story has a happy ending. When all the guavas that were produced were all spoiled and not edible. The leaves had black and white patches, and the guavas were almost black in color. I was devastated because I thought all the hard work I've put into growing this guava plant has gone to waste. But not all hopes were gone. So I started researching about what was the cause of this misery, and I found out that fruit flies and white flies were the main culprits. I was told that if I sprayed them with neem oil, it would completely fix the problem, but that was not enough. And one day I was walking around my neighborhood and I saw that one of my neighbors had a fruit fly trap hanged on to their guava plant. So I decided to make a fruit fly trap out of the things I had at home. So the things I used to make the fruit fly trap were a bowl with an opening in the bottom middle. As you can see in the picture, it's not like a hole, it's kind of like an extra circle which kind of like goes up. And the lid of the bowl, a plastic badminton cork, a thick piece of thread, a fruit fly attractor, which you can like find it in agricultural stores, and you can even make it at home, but it just has to be a solid so that you can put it inside the badminton cork. Then I used 200 milliliters of water and some cotton. So how I assembled this is I first took the cork part of the badminton cork and I made a hole in the lid which was big enough for the cork to fit in. Then I added the fruit fly attractor inside the cork and I sealed it with some cotton. Then I attached the thread to both ends of the lid and I added some water to the bowl. Now all I had to do was I had to close the bowl with the lid and I just had to hang it on the guava tree. And now it's ready to go. So now you must be wondering, like, what now? Like, what does it do? So what really happens is that the fruit fly will be attracted to the fruit fly attractor more than the fruit itself. So it will go through the opening in the bottom in the bowl and sit on the fruit fly attractor, which is peeking through the holes of the badminton cork. And after some time, it will think it's stuck in there. Then after it has been sitting there for a while, it will eventually fall into the water in the bowl and it gets stuck in there until it dies. I know it sounds very creepy and stuff, but that's what actually happens. So this really helped the issue of my guava plant producing spoiled guavas, because like the next batch were all fresh, perfect, and tasty. So yeah, it serves its purpose by catching all the fruit flies that went near it, like it that attracts all of it, and it will fall into the trap. And the main thing is that it's very low maintenance and barely needed any work. So like you just have to clean it once a month and replace the fruit fly attractor. And besides that, you didn't need to do anything to look after it. It also and it is very small and petite, so it doesn't like really show up in your garden, so it doesn't like ruin the look of your garden or anything, and it is really easy to make it and use it. But not everything is perfect. There are some disadvantages to this product. So when you open the lid of the bowl once in a month for cleaning, the fruit flies drenched in the water will be drenched in the water for a long time, and that will produce a very bad and foul smell. So the cleaning is not that great, but it wasn't the case. But it wasn't a problem for me because it was my dad who did all the cleaning, and you had to change the fruit fly attractor once a month because the scent will slowly wear out, because it's the scent that's actually attracting the fruit flies, and rather than the things that is made in it. So yeah, I would like to thank everybody who patiently listened to my presentation, which I hope wasn't boring. I would firstly like to thank my school for giving me this opportunity to join this program. I would also like to thank my sir, Mr. Shashwat, as the last 10 sessions were very enjoyable and was a great learning experience. I would also like to thank this organization for introducing such a program to our school. And I hope this is just the beginning to possibly many great things in the future. After all, from this experience, I learned that all stories can indeed have a happy ending, only if you keep your hopes high till the end. Thank you.
Okay, very well done, Priyanka. So in design thinking session, I had mentioned that you can even use design thinking or innovation to solve everyday regular problems. So yeah. Priyanka seems to have applied design thinking very well. So keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
okay,
sir.
Moving forward with our presentation.
Sir.
Yeah, Adiv. Yes, Adiv.
Yes, sir. I had a power cut.
Not a problem, Adiv. If you want to continue from where you had left, you can do that.
Sir, can you tell me till where you heard me?
You were at instructions to the user.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please proceed.
Okay. So there are certain limits to the flexibility of Roadster, and one has to keep in mind these certain points. So during driving on free roads and highways, it is very important to not go in slightly lean for long periods of time, as it can lead to popping of the engine and it will greatly damage the engine. And even if it senses it as slightly lean, you can just press the button to go stoichiometric and continue driving. On highways and free roads, it is very important to know that stoichiometric will be the most proficient and you can drive it in ease. So I'd like to thank everyone who heard my presentation. Thank you, sir, for letting me enjoy these last 10 sessions. And thank you for everyone for listening. Thank you.
Very well done, Adiv, Sam. Keep it up. All right. Okay, moving forward with our presentation. K. Kirtivasan is here. You can share your screen and you can start.
Yes, sir. In modern society, we take 5 to 10 minutes to find a spot in a parking garage. Parking garages are commonplace, but they're extremely inefficient. According to the study done by the IREX, $70 billion are wasted every year searching for parking. In that process, we waste 3.6 billion hours and 1.7 billion gallons of fuel. That is a lot of wasted resource. In this project, I propose a novel parking management system which consists of many hardware and software modules. My name is K. Kirtivasan and I am an 8th grade student. I am studying in St. Thomas Residential School. Operations. Another reason is that when I went to a mall, there were no space to park our cars as the parking area was too shabby, leaving no space. So I decided to fix this problem by bringing efficiency in car parking. Materials required are camera, 3D laser light, and some coding. Efficient parking system. How it works. What does the camera do? The camera finds a vacant space. What happens when the car enters the parking area? When the car enters the parking area, the camera connects to the laser system, and it sends signal to the laser system to get ready. The laser system guides the car by sending the message. To make it more clear, I'll be showing a scratch project. The car comes, the camera sends signal to the 3D laser light, shows welcome, and turn left to park. And the 3D laser light gets off. Advantages: it saves time, it reduces the traffic, easy parking, reduces anxiety, requires no app, efficient utilization of space. Disadvantages: it reduces manpower and it is an expensive process. Thank you for listening.
Okay, very well done, K. Kirtivasan, knowing that our cities are going through reckless urbanization. So that's a very relevant topic. Keep it up, K. Kirtivasan. Okay. Moving forward, Uttara, MS Uttara is here. Uttara, you can share your screen and please proceed.
So, hello everyone, my name is MS Uttara of 8C and I'm studying in St. Thomas Residential School. So I'm going to be presenting my B-Box Lab presentation. Let's get started. So my project is called A Device While Driving. It's actually an idea. My idea is to create a device that can be fixed to our vehicles. It can be a scooter, a car, or a bike, or a van, any vehicle. So if there is any problem with our vehicle, maybe it can be a puncture or air is reduced in the wheel, or if the petrol is low, this device can send an alert message to our phone. So it can also access the location and suggest a service shop or a petrol pump nearby. So even if there is some part need to be replaced in our vehicle, it will also show that. So the contents are my project, roadway to my idea, materials required, advantages, and there are certain limits, instructions to the user, and conclusion. So the roadway to my idea is when my dad, my sister, and I were traveling, we did not notice that our tire was punctured and we got stuck in the road when we couldn't move further. So when my dad was talking about this funny incident after some years, I thought I should bring up a solution for these kind of problems. So the materials required is a sensor, a plastic base which can be used as a covering, a button to switch it on or off, and a digital display, and a chip, and an Android app so that can send alert messages, and to display the current situation of our vehicle, and a Bluetooth receiver to connect with our phone. So advantages are it can prevent accidents that happen due to the problems in our vehicle, and it can sense a puncture or any problem with our wheel. And it is an easier way of knowing and solving our problems with the vehicle. And it can also suggest a service shop or a petrol pump nearby. Actually, this technology kind of exists already, but it's not more user-friendly. So my idea is to make it more user-friendly and make it less of cost, which is actually expensive these days. And it can also be placed in all vehicles, this device. So I think that's a advantage too. So there are limits for this. It can only work if the location and Bluetooth of our phone is on. If it's not, the device can't send alert messages. So there are instructions to the user that make sure that the phone's Bluetooth and location is on, and also download the app in which it can send alert messages. Thank you everyone for patiently listening to my idea, and thank you Shashit sir for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Okay, very well presented, Uttara. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Let's move forward with the presentation. Anagha M.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please proceed.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am Anakha and I am studying in 8th standard in St. Thomas Residential School. Today I am presenting my project, Dynamic Signaling System based on Traffic Volume. So let me talk about the inspiration behind my project. So the roads were fully crowded before COVID-19, as you all may know. Every single city in India was crowded, particularly in Thiruvananthapuram. It took many green signal iterations before anyone could cross a junction. For me personally, it took 45 minutes to reach my school, which was just 10 kilometers away from my home. Thanks to Corona, today the roads are empty, but the traffic signals still function, assuming the heavy traffic in the roads as before. That is when I felt that the signaling system could have been intelligent enough to sense the traffic volume and function according to it. So let's see what are the materials required for this project. So we need a software for this project. I am using Python OpenCV for this. The processing unit we are using is Raspberry Pi 3. Raspberry Pi 3 is a credit card sized electronic board. It is seen inside a PC and a laptop. Next, we definitely need 12 LED lights. There are 3 lights in a traffic signal system, red, green and yellow. Assuming that there are 4 lanes, we need these 3 lights for each lane. Next, the other components are 4 cameras. We need one camera for each lane, 5 volt or 10 volt, 12 volt adapter, and a cardboard for making the traffic signal system, light system and track. So these are the components for making the model. So let's see see the solution to this problem. The signaling system can be developed by using the above components or materials. The camera fixed some place will capture the image. So these images will be analyzed by Python OpenCV and Raspberry Pi 3 and it will identify the traffic density, and according to that the green signal light will be activated in the corresponding lane. So the duration between the duration of activation of the green light can be user defined, can be for a user defined time. So what are the advantages for this system? It avoids people unnecessarily waiting in each lane, waiting for a signal, honking their vehicles when there is barely any vehicles in the other lanes. So let's see the working of the signaling system. So assuming the junction having 4 lanes, the camera, I recommend fixing the camera overhead so that it can sense the vehicles easily. So for fixing the camera overhead, an L-shaped support can be used. So the camera captures the images in each lane, and these images will be compared with the standard image. The standard image is the image which has no vehicles against that lane. And analyzing the vehicle density, the processing unit will activate the green light in that lane where the vehicle density is more. As we said earlier, the duration can be user defined. The duration for activating the green light can be for a user defined time. So that's all about my project. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for your patience. Thank you.
Okay, very well done, Anagha. Keep it up.
Sir.
Very well presented. Okay. Okay, so last participant is Nand Kishore P. Nand Kishore, you can proceed with your presentation.
Sir, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, please do it.
Sir, can you see it?
Yeah, it's visible.
So my name is Nandakishore P. I'm studying in standard 8 of St. Thomas. My project is about recycling lithium using microbes. So the contents are inspiration for the project details, advantages of the products and disadvantages of the products. Nowadays, everyone has mobile phones. Even children has mobile phones. A mobile phone lasts up to maximum 3 to 4 years. In my house itself, I have 4 mobile phones. It cannot be used mainly because the lithium batteries are damaged, even though some are damaged because of screen. Now, one day it came to my mind that these lithium batteries cannot be recycled. One day, while I was surfing through the net, I came across some microbes which produce organic acids which help in leaching. Then the idea struck me. I thought, why could we use this microbe to recycle the lithium ion battery? So, reducing lithium. Lithium is a rare earth metal. There are so many earth metals such as erythium, etc. So, in order to produce 1 ton of lithium, we use almost 2 million liters of water. And this used 2 million liters of water cannot be used for anything else because it is polluted. Lithium, when comes in contact with soil, affects soil microorganisms. This can affect the environment very badly. So my project is on recycling lithium. So the fungus we use here is Aspergillus. This fungus, Aspergillus niger, releases acids like oxalic acid and citric acid. These acids are organic acids. They are better than any existing means of disposal, such as melting and leaching. Now, let's get on to the procedure. First of all, we take the lithium battery, open the battery. Then we take out the lithium cobalt mixture coil, which we pulverize or grind into the lithium cobalt mixture. Then this mixture should be fed into the bacteria. And within a span of 3 to 4 days, the bacteria will produce a lithium cobalt acid liquid mixture. So this mixture, when added to potassium hydroxide and when it is gone to some chemical processes, we will get 2 different substances, that is lithium and cobalt. So the advantages of these are, compared to smelting, 75% reduction in greenhouse gases. As you can see in the picture, there are hot lava and the fumes involved is carbon dioxide, which we are mainly trying to reduce in this present scenario where climate change is increasing. And 84% of total lithium can be retrieved from this process. The disadvantages of the system, this process is it requires a lot of investment. In order to set up the factories, we need a lot of dismantling. A large tract of land is also required for establishing the processing unit. So with this, I thank every one of you for your patient listening. Thank you.
Okay, very well done, Nand Kishore. So India is one of the largest generators of electronic waste. And if I'm not mistaken, we are one of the top mobile phone users across the world. We have the most numbers of mobile phone users. So obviously we are generating a lot of electronic waste. So in that sense, Nand Kishore, your project is very relevant to a problem that, not only our country, but the globe is facing, the world is facing. Okay, keep it up, Nand Kishore. All right. So that is all that we have in this batch 5 presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed these sessions with you, and I hope you have something positive to take back with you. And so do I. I'm taking back a lot of happy memories with you, right? Okay. So I wish you all the best with your future endeavors, and do well in your life, and all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.